The main nervousness and anticipation is like getting your first case when you've never done it. You don't know what to expect. He was 4 when he initially was pulled away from his mother. And she was pretty young and basically had a younger brother that was maybe 2 at the time. That child got a hold of some prescription pills from all the adults around partying and everything. So ended up in the ER. So that's how the case and the family was brought to people's attention. They witnessed a lot of stuff they shouldn't have witnessed. And also it seems like there was a lot of violence done towards them. The kids like being punched or hit. I mean, these are little kids too. So immediately he was taken out of the home, both of them, and he had so many behavioral issues because of everything that had gone on that most of the places would be like, we'll keep the brother, but we can't keep you. So he was constantly place to place to place, out of state, back here, just all over the place for years.
When we get cases, we have to review our advocates, whoever's assigned reads the information. And for Paul, there was just years and years and years of information.
This case we're talking about with Paul, I mean, this was like files and files, like 10 years in the system plus, and a lot of bad behaviors as a young kid, even leading up pretty close to that, home to home, like never had a steady place for very long, and a lot of violence and trouble and stuff like that. So I was like, this is my first case, like working with a kid like that. So it was kind of nerve-wracking. So the first time I met Paul, he wouldn't even look at us. I mean, he's just looking at his phone, playing a video game, kind of angrily. 5 or 6 days later, I went back on my own and just showed up and went inside and talked with him and told him what I'm about. And then like later that weekend, we went to a movie and got lunch. And from then on, I mean, completely different that second time. A little bit shut down, but after I started explaining all the cool stuff we could do, he was pretty much in.
What is that one thing? Sometimes it might be a kind word or showing that you care or that you could be trustworthy that, gives these kids a little bit of hope that I can do this, I can survive this.
But after that first initial meeting, it's like, I don't recognize from all the stuff I read from the history, I didn't recognize that in this kid at all. We became pretty close. Every time we went on a trip, I'd just kind of give him some room. And then always on the way back from like a road trip, he would just be telling me everything, all kinds of personal stuff from his past, just like letting it all out. And you could tell this isn't the kind of kid that's like telling everybody all this stuff. And then the next week we had plans and no answer on the phone. And then eventually went over there and caught somebody there, I think the boyfriend or somebody of the mom, and like, oh yeah, he left a while back, like we couldn't keep him. No idea where he was, nothing like that. And when we finally found him and got all the info, and the first time I went there, yeah, he was shocked that I was still gonna be there. Like he's all, oh, I just thought I'd never see you again. I was like, no, I told you from the start, like even if you go to different placements, like, I'll be here.
That's when he realized like, hey, this guy's still here, like he's not leaving me. And I think that's what helped with the trust too. We
did go to a lot of movies, saw a lot of movies that I don't care for. He'd be so excited and I'd talk about it like, oh yeah, I'm all into this. I've seen the last 10 of these. Like, I have no idea what's going on. We'd go hiking and stuff. I introduced him to that at first. He wasn't really liking it. Now he like really wants to go again. We'd always go eat at Wingstop. That's our spot. Went to Disneyland one time. Went to Universal Studios another time. Went to the Monterey Aquarium. It always feels good anytime you go hang out with these kids and like do something and you see positive change or they're just happy. And this kid I knew his whole life from reading, like he never had anything or anybody caring about him. He had no idea when we went to Disneyland. He's like, didn't even know what to expect. Same with a lot of the places I took him. Like that was pretty cool. To be the first one to be able to do that with him.
Brian took the initiative to start having those visits with him and taking him out of the home and just doing like regular things. I feel that sometimes our kiddos, including Paul, feel like you're not asking anything of them, you're not requiring anything of them. So if they want to talk about things, they do. If they don't, they don't, but they just get to kind of breathe. And that's the opportunity they have with their advocates. So I think because Brian was taking them out and doing different activities that he had never been exposed to, that opened the door for them to kind of build this relationship where trust started to be built. Paul started to recognize that, Brian was gonna be in his corner. Because I think he's just a very calm person. And I think sometimes kids need that. It's being able to see how much one person can really impact, a child's life.
I just saw a big positive change and now like just his attitude, probably just seeing progress in him and like also doing fun stuff with him, getting close with him, but just seeing the progress and like become a better, well-rounded person. Definitely seeing him get adopted, that was huge. That was a little bittersweet, but I just always planned on, if it ended, taking on another one. It's been totally cool.
how are you supposed to know where you're going if you don't even know who you are, right? Picture a child 4 years old going through all these placements, meeting all kinds of different people. All of our kids deserve a chance. And that's what the advocate gets to give them, right? It's kind of like giving them a piece of you that they will always have, that they will always remember.